Hello everyone, I'm Yugioh Jacob. Today we are reviewing my Charmer deck. Before I begin, this is two structured Charmer decks put together, so everything will be mostly doubled. We're going to start off with the extra deck, the tokens. Two tokens, two completely different ones. Right here you can see that. Right here, that. Personally, I like how they make different tokens for it. And we're going to start with the cards. Again, we will be seeing doubles. So first off, Awaken and Possessed, Nefarious Archfiend. This one goes to the Earth Charmer. As you see by the Earth attribute. You can special summon him from your hand or deck by sending one space spellcast monster, one level 4 or Earth monster. So yeah, pretty good. He's a level 5 with 2000 attack. I think that's pretty good. You can see good monsters like that, like Curse of Dragon. Next we have, it's not in frame. We have Spellbook of Knowledge. Sent to the graveyard one spellcast monster control or whenever a spellbook card from your hand. Except this, and then you draw 2 cards. So it's kind of like a more difficult version of Pot of Greed. Whenever Awaken to Possess Nefarious Archfiend. Then we have Possess Partnerships. You can special summon a spellcaster with 1500 or less defense from your hand or graveyard attack position or face down defense. And then if you control monsters with 2 or more different attributes, you can destroy this one card on the field, and then banish this card from your grave. Then target one possessed continuous spell or trap in your grave. Place in face up on the field, and you can only use this once per turn. Possessed Partnership sounds good. Then we have Spiritual Water AoE or AoE. You treat a water monster. You can your opponent's hand and send one card from their hand to the grave. And then we have Dark Dorado, a pretty good spellcaster pendulum on a scale of 5, good attack and defense. Right here, all Earth, Water, Fire, and Wind type monsters gain 200 attack defense for any different attribute among the monsters you control. So I think that's only if it's on the pendulum zone. But right here, it's only for the pendulum zone, but right here, you can choose a Earth, Water, Wind, and Fire monster from your monsters from your deck. And then place them on top in any order you want. Then we have our first continuous spell, Awakening and the Possessed. Right here, monsters control all monsters you get 300 attribute for attack for different attributes on your field. Charmers and Possess cannot be targeted by destroy card effects. And if spellcaster monster with a 1850 original attack is normal special summoned, you can draw a card. So, pretty good. Right here we have a tuner. I don't know why it's in it, but it just showed up. Effect Veiler. See what the effect is. During your opponent's main phase, you can send this card from your hand to the grid and target one effect monster from your opponent controls. Negate the effects of that face-up monster until the end of the turn. So I guess pretty good effect. Then we have a field spell right here, Grand Spiritual Art Ikirin. Negate your opponent's first monster effect that resolves each turn you control a spellcast monster with 1500 defense. And during main phase, you can reveal a spellcast monster from your hand. Then add one monster with the same attribute, but with 15 attack, 100 attack, and 200 defense from your deck to hand. If you do, you can shuffle that reveal card to deck. You can only use it once per turn. So yeah. And we have another spiritual fire art, Kurenai. You use a fire type. Inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. So I guess monsters like Lava Golem, if you have them in your deck, you can use that. treating a fire type monster. Like, just find a way to get it onto your field, because I think it's a fire attribute. You can use lava golem and inflict 3,000 damage. Then we have one of my favorite cards from the deck, Denko Sekka. She's Thunder with 1,700 attack and 1,000 defense. Cannot be special summoned while you control no set spells traps. Not playing set spell traps or activate them. Spell traps are set on the field, so yeah. Here's our spell, a quick play. Spirit Charmers. First off, I like the artwork. Like, you see how, like, there's an aura around them with all their color coded to their attribute. Right here it says discard 1 card, take 2 cards from your deck with attributes with different names. You turn their charm monsters, familiar possess and or possess spell traps. Add one of them to your hand and set the other cards. Set the other. Only activate one spell charge per turn. Pretty good. Here we have my favorite trap card in the deck, Unpossessed. Charmers you control cannot be destroyed by battle. So pair that with pair that with Awakening of Possessed. You actually have a good attack run going. So yeah. So let's read it. Charmers cannot be destroyed by battle. If a familiar possessed you control attacks an opponent's monster, it gains 800 attack during damage calculation only. So if you attack, so basically this goes with the Awaken the Possessed thing. They would gain 300 attack for each attribute, and then a familiar possessed you control attacks, it would gain 800 attack during the calculation damage. So yeah. Let's see. Also says if a monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect while its card is faced in your spell trap zone, you can specify one spellcaster monster with 1,500 defense from your deck, whose attributes are from at least one of those destroyed monsters. Original attributes in attack position or face down position. Face down fence. And you can only use the effect once per turn. Next we have a normal spell card, Twin Twisters. You start 1 card and then target 2 spell cards on the field and destroy them. And we have a book card, Book of Eclipse. Change all monsters on the field to face down defense. During the end phase, changes may face down defense monsters your opponent controls as possible to face up defense. Then your opponent draws cards equal to the number of monsters change face up by this effect. Well, first off, I'd say it would be a good idea to use against Ghost Tricks, because they're always relying to be face down, but I don't think it's actually a good idea. Next, we have a Fairy Tale monster, Fairy Tale Rella. And yeah, Fairy Tale Rella's got 1850 attack and 1,000 defense, kind of like the Familiar Possessed cards. Yeah, if you look at the Familiar Possessed, you're gonna see how most of them are at 1850. Her effect: another player can target monsters on the field with spell cards or effects except this one. So yeah, you cannot equip spell cards to your monsters. Like if you want to equip something like Horn of the Unicorn, or like think one Book of Secret. It's like I can't remember the name, but it's a spell card. You equip to a spellcaster, it gains your attack. You can only equip it to her. So yeah. Next we have Raigeki. Simple, destroy a monster your opponent controls. Next, another Raigeki. Then we have a spell card, Dark Ruler No More. Negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent controls until the end of this turn. Also, for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, your opponent takes no damage. So I guess this would be a good idea if you want to destroy your opponent's monsters. Yeah. And we have our first Charmer, Ayusa the Earth Charmer. Her effect is simple. She's a flip effect. You target one Earth monster your opponent controls and take control while this card is face up on the field. 1500 defense. Hopefully your opponent attacks something like Giant Soldier of Stone. Next we have another Spirit Charmer card. Another Fairy Tale Rella. And another new Fairy Tale monster, Fairy Tale Luna. Same attack and defense as Rella. Let's see. When this card's no summon, add one spellcaster monster with 1850 attack from your deck to hand. Once turn, target one face-up card, monster your opponent controls. Your opponent can send one card with that monster's name from their deck or extra deck to the graveyard to negate this effect. Otherwise, return both this card and that monster to hand. So, yeah. And another Ayusa. We have another Nefarious Archfiend. This one's different. Nefarious Archfiend, Eater of Nefariousness. 1500 defense, 1500 attack, 200 defense. My bad. Sorry for the glare. You can only control one Nefarious Archfiend Eater. You can only control one of them. If you control a spellcaster monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once turned during your opponent's end phase, this card is in your grave. You can target one face-up monster you control, destroy it, and if you do, special summon this card. Yeah. Another Grand Spiritual Art Icarin. And we get a Familiar Possess. Familiar Possess Hita. One of my favorites. 1850 attack, 1500 defense. Special summon this card from your hand by sending one Hita the Fire Charm, one face-up fire monster you control to their grave. So, I guess if you want to special summon her, you can use that. You can use Hita's effect, which would be the same as Osa, except it's going to be a fire attribute. So you can tribute both those monsters, special on her, getting rid of your opponent's monster in the process. Next, another Effect Veiler. Oh, also about the Familiar Possessed, I think they all inflict piercing damage. Next, another Unpossessed. Terraforming. Pretty obvious. Add one field spell from your deck to hand. Then we have Familiar Possessed Ayusa. Same effect as Hita, except Earth attribute. And now we have Fairy Tale Sleeper. Same attack and defense as the other Fairy Tales. She has a flip effect. You special summon a monster from your hand. When your opponent activates a null spell or trap card, tribute one monster in the field. Tribute on one other monster. That effect becomes change one face-up monster your opponent controls to face-down defense. Then only use this effect once per turn. Then we have one of my favorite Charmers, the Wind Charmer, because she looks pretty cool. And it has one of my favorite dragons that are not strong. Petite dragon right there. Same effect as Ayus, as all of them except she doesn't have wind or fire. I mean, earth fire, it's wind. Yeah. Then we have Witch of the Black Forest, one of my favorite Season 1 monsters. In my opinion, because one of my favorite duels I've seen in Yu-Gi-Oh! Was Yugi versus Rebecca after Duelist Kingdom. Because this is one of her starting monsters, along with Sangan. I don't want to spoil much, but you gotta watch the duel. It's pretty cool. You can add, when she's sent to the grave, you can add a monster of 1500 or less defense to your hand from your deck. Another Fairy Tale Luna. Another Witch of the Black Forest. Pretty good. We have Area the Water Charmer. Same effects for Zero Charms, except water type instead of wind or earth. Spiritual Earth Art Kurogen. Tribute one earth monster and target one other level 4 lower earth monster in your graveyard, special on that earth monster. So I guess pretty good. Then we have Witchcrafter Golem Aruru. 2000 attack, no defense, spellcaster. Level, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, level 8, light type. So let's see what her effect. When your opponent activates a card effect that targets spellcaster, you control or targets for attack. You can target one card your opponent controls or one witchcrafter spell in your grave. Special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, return that target card to the hand. So yeah, pretty good. You can only use it once per turn. Also, once per turn during your opponent's town phase, return this card to the hand. So yeah, if you want to use this for a good thing, you might want to try and get an attack in and hope it connects. Like make your opponent lose 2,100 life points. Then we have another familiar. We didn't draw this one yet. Familiar Possessed Ayusa, pretty good. Same thing as Hita except with Earth. Another Awakening of the Possessed. Another Terraforming. We're hitting all the cards we've reached. Another Witchcrafter Golem. Familiar Possessed Area. Same thing as same effect as Hita and Ayusa except water instead of earth or fire. Now we have another possessed monster. Well, not more possessed, more of like the possessed monster, Inari Fire. Pretty good. Spiritual Wind Art, Miyabi. Alright. Tribute Wind Monster. Then target one card your opponent controls. Place that opponent's card on the bottom of the deck. I'd say it's a pretty good card. I'd say it's pretty good if you want to get rid of your opponent's greatest. If your opponent has their strongest monster in the field, you can use that. Yeah. And we have another AoE, or AoE, how you say it. Another Kurune. Alright. Another Dark Rule No More. And we have, finally, the stronger version of the Wind Charmers Possessed. Ranryu. Dragon, 15 attack, 200 defense. You can only draw one Ranryu. If you control a spellcaster monster, you can just summon this card from your hand. This card is destroyed battle or card effect and sent to the grave. Target one monster with 1500 attack or defense of your grave, except Ranryu. So I guess like cards like Inari Fire and Ranryu run together because they're familiars. Yeah. And another Spiritual Wind Art Miyabi. Spellbook of Knowledge. Pretty good artwork right there. Send to the grave either one spellcaster monster or a spellbook from your hand, or face of a field except Spellbook of Knowledge. And if you do draw two cards, so it's kind of like if you grabbed, like if you were gonna play. I gotta see it. I gotta find it. I know it's in the pile somewhere. It's like the other spellbook we just saw. So yeah. And another Inari Fire. Metaverse. Take one field spell from your deck and either activate it or add it to your hand. Pretty good. Another Metaverse. Gigabyte. Water attribute. That is the familiar possessed form of the familiar of area. You can, same thing as Inari and trying to remember his name. Same thing as Inari or Ranryu. Another Dark Dorado. We also add another Stenko Seka. Awakening to possess Greater Inari Fire. Same effect as the Greater Archfiend Nefariousness. So yeah. Kind of same effect. And another Archfiend Eater Nefariousness. We have Heat of the Fire Charmer finally. My favorite Fire Charmers, really. One of my favorite Charmers by far. Same effect as her as the other ones except fire. And we have Solemn Warning. When a monster will be special summoned, or when a spell trap card or monster effect is activated that includes the effect that special summons a monster, you can pay 2,000 life points and negate the activation, and it will destroy it. Next, Familiar Possessed Area. We already know what she does. Same as Familiar Possessed Hita and Ayusa, except this time with water instead of earth fire. Another Heat of the Fire Charmer. Dimensional Barrier. Let's see what that does. Declare one monster card. Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, Exeter, Pendulum. For the rest of this turn, our player can special summon monsters of the declared type. Also, to get the effects of all monsters that type while they're on the field. You can only use it once per turn. I think really this would work, but with people using links now, Dimensional Barrier wouldn't have any hold anywhere. Next, we have Familiar Possessed Wind. Yeah, same effect as Hida, except Wind. Another Gigabyte, one of the greatest field spells for spellcasters. Secret Village. Right here, only control a spellcaster monster. Your opponent cannot activate spell cards. If you control no spellcaster monsters, you cannot activate spell cards. So, as long as you have a spellcaster monster in your field and you have this in the field, your opponent cannot play any spell cards. So, yeah, if they want to try and destroy it, they have to use something like Dust Tornado. They can't use Mystical Phase Typhoon or Twin Twister. Next, another Kuragani. Next, another Familiar Possessed Hida. Different look than the last one. I like the. I'm gonna do a comparison. Just scheme it while I look for it. It's in a. Alright. Now, there's differences between it. I like this one better because it looks pretty cool. This one, just your basic one. This one has to be new. So, pretty good. Pretty good. Another Ranryu. Great. We're getting to doubles. Another Area. Another Twin Twister. Another Fairy Tale Sleeper. Another Wind. Another Familiar Possessed Hida. That's 3 Hidas. Possessed. Another Secret Village. Another Greater Inari Fire. 4 Hidas. I can't run the 2 Hidas. I have to take 1 Hida out. You can't have 4 of the same. So, I'm going to take this one out of the deck. I'm sorry. Yeah. Another Possessed Partnership. Yeah, we're hitting the Nurse All Warning, Nurse Wind, Nurse Book of Eclipse, and finally, ladies and gentlemen, another Dimensional Barrier. Boom, that's what you got. Look at all these cards, and look at the one I had to take out. I had to take out 1 Familiar Possessed Hida. Because, oh my god, it's weird how... Alright, now here's what the structure deck is lacking, really. What it lacks is... 1, it's missing Lena the Light Charmer and Dark the Dark Charmer. And it's got to have Awakening Possessed Dark and Lena. And needs Spiritual Light Art and Spiritual Dark Art if those are real. I think with the links now, there is links of Hida. I don't think there's I know there's 3 links probably. Well, I know it's 3 links. It's Hida and 2 others. I can't remember who they are. But they need to make links for all 5. All 6 really. They need to add not only just Lena and Dark, they're both Charmer and Possessed. But also they need to add their Possessed monsters, if they do have them. Yeah. Now, my only complaint about the structure deck is they don't have Lena and Dark. Because you need to have all 6 Charmers, really. But I'd say this is a pretty good deck to use if you want to use spellcasters mostly. Anyway, that'll be it for this. By the way, if this video reaches 800 likes, I will do a 2-deck review. Yugi deck, Battle City, and Kaiba deck, Battle City. Anyways, hold on. I gotta get this out. I'm gonna do this. My 2 favorite cards, Hida and Greater Inari Fire. Anyways, I'm Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist Jacob. And like I always say, guys, keep on dueling.